Chief 1's out, base area.
Copy.
Welcome back to the Call Sign Chief 1 podcast. I want to start out by making a few quick announcements. First, I'd like to shout out each and every one of my listeners and YouTube subscribers. We were sitting at 76 subscribers last week, and today we are just one subscriber away from 90. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As some of you may know, I am an airman. I retired from active duty, but I'm not retired from airmanship. So when it comes to the Air Force in general and fire and emergency services in particular, I'm going to advocate and support as much as I can. I'm also doing my best to stay active in the local community, and I am going to highlight things going on that are important to me from time to time. So a couple of upcoming events that I'm excited to tell you about. The Military Firefighter Heritage Foundation Memorial and 25th Anniversary Gala is going to take place March 6th and 7th in San Angelo, Texas, where those who paved the way as well as those who paid the ultimate sacrifice are going to be honored. The memorial is going to take place early in the afternoon on the 6th, and the gala kicks off on the 7th at 7 p.m. at the McNeese Convention Center. And I am excited and humbled to be this year's keynote speaker. If interested, shoot me a message and I will provide you with POC details. For those in the DoD fire world, the next Talking Crash will take place April 14th through 16th, 2026 at Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs. For those unfamiliar with the event, it is a forum where firefighters discuss major emergencies in a safe and non-punitive environment, and they share lessons and stories learned without fear of retribution or judgment. It's a great opportunity for growth, continuous improvement, and education. And if you're interested in attending or if you'd like to be a briefer, as they are seeking briefers, POC's Christopher Waldrop at 719-556-4790, Master Sergeant Samantha Hetty at 719-556-4616, or Tech Sergeant Zachary Paxson at 719-556-6244. That's Talking Crash 6, taking place on April 14th through 16th. And for those in the St. Louis area and surrounding suburbs, and this is a volunteer opportunity here, Community Arts STL is a nonprofit organization of which I am proud to be a member of the board of directors. And their vision is to cultivate community at the intersection of public health and art to inspire intentional and creative living. And they do it through after-school arts education, performing arts, and in-school arts education. On May 1st, 2026, Community Arts STL is going to celebrate 20 years of their collective motion production. This year's event is entitled This Moment That Makes Us, and it will feature dance, live music, poetry, and a live sketch artist. If you're in the greater St. Louis area, you will not want to miss This Moment That Makes Us on May 1st, 2026 at the Center of Creative Arts, 6880 West Washington Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63130. That is 6880 Washington Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63130, Center of Creative Arts. Visit communityartsstl.com. That is communityarts.stl.com for event and ticket information and to learn more about this wonderful organization. All right. Today, I want to share a leadership lesson that I learned during my time as the fire chief at Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota. It didn't happen on the fire ground or during the record blizzard that we experienced during my time there, nor did it happen at the train derailment that we helped mitigate. It actually happened in our stairwell at the fire station. We were renovating the stairwell that connected the upstairs offices and the kitchen day room area to the downstairs bunk rooms and apparatus bays. Now, every firefighter used it multiple times a day, shift after shift. Now, this seems small, but culture is built in small places, in what we refer to as the little things. Chief Master Sergeant Russell Eidenschink was a mentor of mine, and we were stationed together years ago in Japan. And at a certain point in time, he had been the fire chief at Minot Air Force Base. I ended up showing up there, and he still had a huge part of his legacy had remained. But that hallway, which of course looked really good, and it did kind of capture a lot of the heritage over the years, but a lot of the paint and had been peeling apart, and the red color throughout the hallway was starting to kind of get a little bit dingy and worn, and so the hallway needed an upgrade. But I didn't really want to do too much to the hallway because, yeah, it needed a little bit of a touch up, but I didn't want to risk removing some of one my former mentors' legacy. So um, I was a bit kind of halfway in and halfway out, so to speak. And I had loyalty to an old boss, so I wanted to do something nice, but I didn't want to kind of erase his legacy. So um, I almost shut down what was a great idea um, because my gut told me to. And at the time, the project lead was then Technical Sergeant Charles Lewis. He's motivated, thoughtful, um, spoke truth to power. And when I showed up there, I needed to know what was going on, how we did business, and I needed people that I can trust on my team. And he was one of those folks. And he took ownership of things. So today, he's a master sergeant stationed in Alaska, and that promotion doesn't surprise me at all. We were going over design concepts for the stairwell, and in my mind, I had a vision. It was a clean vision. I wanted it to be professional. I wanted the hallway to be functional, traditional firehouse feel, nothing flashy, just solid. Let's clean it up, make it look good, but don't change too much. However, Charles had something completely different in mind. He wanted energy and pride built into the space while maintaining our department's identity. Something that made you feel something when you walked from the offices into the readiness of the bays. And I'll be honest with you, my gut reaction was initially, that's not the direction that I want to go. I don't want to change too much. And I definitely don't want to mess this hallway up. And as the fire chief, I could have ended that conversation in about 10 seconds. Appreciate the input, Tech Sergeant, but we're going to keep it simple. Decision made, authority exercised. But I paused. I remember thinking to myself, is my resistance about quality or is it about control? And that's a dangerous question for a leader to ask themselves because sometimes your gut isn't about the standards. Sometimes it's about ownership. And as human leaders, sometimes it's hard to let go and let others. My instinct was shaped by years of experience, what I had seen work before, and what I saw get messed up in the past. What I thought looked right, what felt aligned with my style. But Charles's vision was shaped by ownership. He wasn't pitching something casual to me. He cared. He was invested. And sometimes you don't trust the design. You have to trust the designer. So I told him, all right, let's do it your way. And I didn't do it because I was convinced. I didn't do it because I doubted myself or what I wanted to see, but because I trusted him, even though I didn't fully see his vision. That was why I did it. And let me tell you, when the renovation was finished, it was amazing. That stairwell wasn't just stairs anymore. It had identity. It had pride. It had energy. It felt intentional. And when you walked down into the apparatus bay, it felt like you were entering a professional organization that cared about who it was. I tell you right now, it wasn't what I would have built. It was way better. Sometimes you have to get out of your people's way. And as for my gut instinct, my gut wasn't wrong. It just wasn't the only perspective that mattered. We talk about trusting your gut like it's always the right move, but our gut is just a result of our experiences compressed. It's pattern recognition that's built over time, and that's valuable. On the fire ground, that instinct matters. Reading smoke, feeling heat, hearing the tone in someone's voice over the radio. But in development, in culture building, your instinct can't see what somebody else is capable of becoming. So if I had shut that idea down, the stairwell would have looked the way I wanted it to. But a leader would have grown less because I backed Charles's vision. He owned it. He poured into it. He elevated it. And it wasn't just a renovation project. It was leadership development. So if you're a company officer and one of your firefighters brings you an idea that doesn't match your instinct, I encourage you to pause for a few minutes and just ask yourself, am I protecting the standards or am I protecting control? There's a difference. On the fire ground, you make the call. You have to. But in development, you have to make room. Strong leaders don't need their fingerprint on everything. They don't need every decision to reflect their personal style. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step back and let someone else build. We did a lot of great work at Minot, but that stairwell reminds me of the power of trusting your people and how it multiplies leadership. I'm not saying instinct doesn't matter. It does. But there are times to follow your gut, and there's times not to. Is your gut telling you to do something that will avoid a tragic mishap, or simply preventing you from going against the grain? The strongest leaders aren't the ones who have to have it their way every time. They're the ones confident enough to say, let's build it your way. And when you do that, you don't just improve a space, you build people. Thank you for listening. This is Call Sign Chief 1. We're talking leadership where it matters most. Chief 1's out, base area.
Copy.